I'm Laurie Blake. Welcome to the WrestleTalk News. On Fridays, we wear pink. Our top story involves comeuppance. Contract comeuppance, in which contracts come up. Because you know, wrestling contracts are usually guarded with the same sort of secrecy as taking a contract out on somebody's life. For some reason, they just don't want anyone to know who signed the thing. And in the case of wrestling, maybe that's because the second it's known somebody's contract is about to expire, the old rumour mill goes into overdrive about whether they will stay or whether they will go. Well, you might as well call me Windy Bloody Miller, because I'm about to add some grain to this grindstone and now talk about Andrade potentially leaving AEW. El Idolo joined AEW back in June 2021 after leaving WWE in March that same year and has had a rocky road in AEW, and now it's rumoured that his contract is coming up soon and he may well be departing the company for pastures new or pastures old. The grass is already ated at WWE. But this is all a cue that we've taken from him returning to perform for CMLL in the near future. CMLL. It's hard to say CMML. CMML. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer laid it all out. He said he's going back to CMLL, not sure exactly what week, but probably relatively soon. On Friday night's Arena Mexico show, they did a tease of him going back. He had talked to AAA about going back there and decided to go to CMLL. Now, under Andrade's current AEW contract, he would be able to work for CMML anyhow. But according to Meltzer, even though CMML's drawing big crowds, there's no real money being paid by them. And Andrade actually charges a lot for his appearances in Mexico, so I think it's just something that he wants to do. And the reason that Andrade apparently wants to go back to CMML now is because if he should sign with WWE when his deal comes up, there will be no working with CMML. Meltzer added he thinks that his deal's up pretty soon, so he wanted to go back to CMML in case he ends up going to WWE. He's not made a decision on what he's doing next. He's not signed a new deal, but if he does go back to WWE, he knows he can't go back to Arena Mexico. Bryan Alvarez later confidently added that this guy wants to go back to WWE and his wife. Now, as you likely know by now, Andrade will not be the only high-profile defector from AEW. We, of course, have Cody Rhodes finish the damn story. We've got CM Punk, even though he was pushed before he could jump. And much more recently, we've got QT Marshall. Now, Marshall in AEW was interesting because he worked multiple backstage roles at the company alongside being a performer and an on-screen manager, and announced his resignation from the company recently, citing changes in the overall direction as the main reason. That direction not being putting QT Marshall in the ring, seemingly. Now, SE Scoops have been doing some digging and they learned even more details about Marshall's final months in AEW, most notably that he tried to resign in August when his deal was due to come up in early December because he wanted to pursue an in-ring career and not be stuck as either a manager or a coach. He then signed an extension with AEW that would carry him through to January 2024 on the premise that he would get more in-ring and TV time, though that didn't materialize. Now, Marshall has been doing a lot of work with AAA recently and is their Latin American champion working under Conan, who is obviously well known for keeping his mouth shut, and obviously then spilled a whole bunch of beans on his K100 podcast, saying, "I know for a fact that this has been building up. He gets paid very well, but he was very frustrated because he does a lot of stuff, and Tony Khan is the type of guy who changes his mind last minute. He only listens to the top guys, which some of them don't have the best interests of the company at heart." He says on behalf of a man who was leaving a well-paid job because he wasn't getting enough TV time. Wrestling!
Right, it's Survival Series next week. I know I can win, but only if Tempest doesn't ask me anything about the last couple of years of the AEW versus WWE rivalry. I don't know anything about that, and I especially don't know anything about Triple H's new WWE role, CM Punk joining and leaving AEW, or AEW Collision.
How am I supposed to prepare for tables, lists and chairs when there's so much else going on in the world? WWE's legal battles, mergers, CM Punk joining AEW, Tony Khan's struggles to control his company and so much more. If only someone had written all this information down somewhere so I don't have to think about it all the time.
If only they knew. WrestleTalk's brand new book, WWE vs. AEW The Fallout, offers a front row seat to the ceaseless drama, the pulse-pounding excitement, and the monumental shifts that have unfolded in the war between WWE and AEW over the past 18 months. Picking up where WWE vs. AEW The New War left off, this anthology of articles from the pages of the WrestleTalk magazine gives you fresh insights and perspective into the battle between the two companies that you simply cannot get anywhere else. It's the ultimate collector's item for those who want to remember this unprecedented time in wrestling history. Use the link in the description below to get your copy now.
I don't get it.
Speaking of talent frustration, the primary way many of AEW's disgruntled guys and gals have been making said displeasure known to the public has been on their social media, pesky plague of the modern era that it is. Now, if you saw our news video yesterday, you would know that the word on the street from Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp is that AEW's disciplinary committee has been dealing out fines to talent who air their grievances online. You get a fan, you get a fan, you get a fine. And, most interestingly of all, those fines have been dished out by none other than the Blackpool Combat Club's very own Bryan Danielson. Yes, it seems as if Danielson has turned his disciplinary efforts away from bullying Paul Wheeler Yuta and onto the rest of the AEW roster who may have a bone to pick with the company. This now follows on from Danielson's reported role in the AEW firing of one CM Punk back in September, following that backstage altercation with Jack Perry at All In London. Turns out Bry D isn't messing around. Talking on Fightful's The Hump, SRS said that at least one or two people have been fined by him. However, it does seem as if there are some conflicting reports on just how involved Danielson actually is in this process, because speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer said that while Danielson is on the disciplinary committee, he is not the guy doing the fining. Adding to the confusion, Bryan Alvarez noted that he did in fact ask around regarding social media conduct fines, but curiously, those he spoke to don't seem to have heard of that. So I guess all the contradictory reports leave us unsure as to what the actual crack is with the whole situation. However, it appears that one AEW star may have just implied that he has now been the latest target of the AEW disciplinary committee. I mean, the more I say AEW disciplinary committee, the more I want it to just become a new faction. BCC is old news. We want corporate Bryan. Yesterday, Mike Santana tweeted a reminder of how long it had been since he was last featured on AEW TV, posting 6 weeks, along with a yawning emoji. Curiously, this tweet was then deleted, with Santana later tweeting, "Find me? Yeah. Okay." While this was seen by many as an implication that Santana's previously deleted tweet had perhaps led to a fine, it could also just be Santana having fun with the entire situation, which seems more likely based on an exchange with SRS in the comments, with Sean asking, "Lamau, did everyone assume it was you?" And Santana replying, "I guess." Either way, it seemed as if the reaction to the situation, which I can report featured a lot of Danielson memes, had at least provided Santana with some entertainment, as he tweeted, "Thanks for the entertainment while I soak up my beautiful island." Moving on now, and despite all the talk of AEW's woes behind the scenes, one thing the product does have going for it is undoubtedly the Devil storyline. While it does remain to be seen whether the anticipation of the grand reveal will be met or not, which it most certainly won't if it turns out to be Jack Perry, just note that down, fans are at least having fun speculating on who it could be under the masks. Again, not Jack Perry. One of the prevailing theories on the masked man's identity is that someone either not currently contracted with AEW, a la Mustafa Ali, or someone currently injured, like Adam Cole, the correct choice, could be involved. While that all remains to be seen, it was previously reported by Fightful last month that those currently under the mask are in fact the people who will likely be revealed to be involved later down the line. And in a new update on Fightful Select, this point was reiterated further, saying that as of last week, the talent under the Devil masks are still set to be played by those currently under them. So with that said, discounting injured and recently released WWE talent, who do you feel is logically under the masks? Let us know in the comments down below. So, if that report rings true, then one name we can rule out as being involved is Dolph Ziggler, who is now finally set to be at the end of his 90-day non-compete clause following his WWE release on September 21st. They released Dolph Ziggler. Do you remember that? What a weird year it's been. Unlike some of the other release names, the future of Ziggler post-WWE has always been a bit more up in the air. Because while his legacy and ability undoubtedly make him an appealing signing for any promotion, the show-off may wish to instead turn his attention away from wrestling and onto his stand-up comedy career. And while that still may prove to be the case, at the very least, it seems as if the Ziggs is not totally down with the wrestling biz just yet, as he's now been booked for his first post-WWE wrestling gig. As announced in a press release for MCW Pro Wrestling's MCW Fan Jam and MCW Anniversary on February the 4th, 2024, Ziggler was announced to appear alongside fellow former WWE stars Matt Riddle, James Ellsworth, and the Blue Meanie, among others. While it did confirm that Riddle would be competing in a match, the same was not confirmed for Ziggler, so we'll have to wait if that proves to be Dolph's first non-WWE match in 2 decades. Because of course, one other potential home for Ziggler could be Impact Wrestling, or as they would now like to be known once again, TNA. While TNA has seen potential landmark signings for their rebrand, such as Will Ospreay and CM Punk, slip through the net choosing AEW and WWE respectively, many are anticipating a big splash for the promotion in 2024. However, it seems as if their optimism may be slightly dashed by the news that former Knockouts champion Deonna Purrazzo looks set to depart the company in the new year, according to Fightful Select. It was reported in September that Purrazzo's contract with Impact was set to come up in early 2024, and while there had been no update on the renegotiation, Purrazzo's presence on the TNA wrestling graphics had some theorizing that she was set to stick around. However, that seems to not be the case, with no new deal agreed between the two parties, and Purrazzo now reportedly keen to explore free agency. While there has been no word yet on where she may end up landing, her final dates with the company are said to be real soon, specifically the Impact Final Resolution tapings in Canada this weekend. Although Purrazzo is set to explore her options elsewhere, Fightful did note that the split with Impact was amicable, with the door open to agreeing a new deal with the company in the future. Lastly, we finish up today with an injury update on WWE's resident ambulance tipper, Braun Strowman. The monster among men has been off TV for much of 2023, having undergone neck fusion surgery in June. Due to the severity of the issue, many have been wondering if/when we can expect to see Strowman back inside a WWE ring again. Speaking in an interview with News 18, Strowman thankfully provided a promising update. He said, "So I did my 5-month checkup and I got medically cleared to start lifting weights. I lost 35 pounds just sitting around for 8 weeks because I wasn't eating like I normally do since I wasn't lifting. So now we're trying to put the weight back on. The goal for 2024 is to continue this. As I said, I go back after the first year to have another checkup and then get back in the ring, getting back into shape, and then getting back to passing these hands out. Give these hands." And while we are of course approaching the traditional surprise return season in WWE, aka the Royal Rumble, Strowman admitted that while that would be great, he is at the mercy of the doctors due to the severity of the injury. Whenever the return does come around, though, one thing Strowman made sure to mention was that he would be doing so in dedication to his close friend and former Wyatt family leader, Bray Wyatt. We at WrestleTalk would like to continue to extend our well wishes to Strowman in his ongoing recovery. And that is all for today, folks. Before I let you out of here, please go and check out our brand new RPG channel, Chaotic Neutral, because we did our first game of Fiasco last week and it is bananas. Myself, Sullivan, Rosie, Dan, and Tegan, yes, Tegan of Screaming on No Holds Barred fame, had a blast playing a cast of hapless dragon slayers on an improvised comedy caper. If you like RPGs or you like silly little shows, please go and check it out. Have a happy Friday. Enjoy the wrestling.